Hello everyone, welcome once again to A.O.S Academy's YouTube channel. Here we talk about everything related to Canada immigration, IELTS preparation, TEF Canada preparation, and even research assistance services. So today we want to continue with our talk with A.O.S series, the series that was related to the Q&A sessions we actually had during and even before our Jackpot to Canada in 2023 webinar. If you have not actually watched the video, the recording of the webinar, you can actually visit the description below this video to watch it right now and to learn more about what we are to talk about today. So, as we have started, we want to continue with one of the over 90 questions we got from attendees and registrants of the webinar. And the very question we'll start with today is the question 56, which was asked by Bello Oluwapelumi. The person actually asked that, how do I entirely relocate and become a citizen of Canada through IELTS? Now, this is a very good question because if you want to relocate as a permanent resident and at the end of the day become a citizen of Canada, you have to take the IELTS examination. Now, a lot of people still would move to Canada without the IELTS examination, but most of them that actually moved with that route means that they went through the permanent residency pathway. And for the permanent residency pathway, that means you would have to relocate either as a study student or maybe as an international student or as a temporary worker, maybe through some work offers, or even move through the visitor or the tourist visa. In other words, this set of people that went through the temporary residency pathway would later, one way or the other, have to come back to their home country, or they would have to start up another completely different application, which we know as the permanent resident. But I'm glad you said you would like to relocate entirely and become a citizen, and you are open to writing the IELTS examination. As of now, December 2022, you would have to write the IELTS examination, you understand, in order to qualify to be able to move through the permanent residency. However, it is not only IELTS that is required, it's not only the exam that is required. You would also need to send your credentials abroad if you have actually graduated from a school. Do you understand? Either for bachelor's or for master's or even PhD, or even other programs like OND, HND, you understand, and ND programs. So what happens now is that once you have your certificate from those institutions, you would have to send both your certificate and your transcript to Canada in order to get them evaluated and to see if they level at par with the same certificate or credentials that are being given from Canadian schools. And if they see it is quite equivalent, for instance, my own certificate I got from the University of Ilorin, Kwara State, Nigeria, was bachelor's in linguistics, and I studied that for 4 years in University of Ilorin. Now, when I did my own WES and it got back the report of the WES, and what WES means is World Education Services. It is um, the body that is actually related to the education credential assessment. They are the one in charge of it. We have a lot of bodies, but that's just one of the bodies that are actually used to evaluate and to assess one's academic credentials. Now, when I sent it to them for evaluation, they checked it out and they saw that what I studied, linguistics, was actually quite the same with what I should have studied as well in Canada. So, as a result of that, they evaluated it to being the equivalent of also the linguistic bachelor's degree in Canada. So as a result of that, I was able to get additional points for my WES, my ECA, Educational Credential Assessment. Also, you would have to meet all other criteria in terms of your age, in terms of your work experience, in terms of your ties in Canada or house Canada if necessary. You would have to get credentials for your sustainability in Canada if peradventure you are given the permanent residency status, and all other eligibility criteria apart from the IELTS exam would also be considered before you become a permanent resident. And the beauty of Canada immigration is that as soon as you get there, you would already have your permanent residency status. It is different from people who are going to, for instance, the UK or the US. They would be temporary residents at first when they get there, just like we talked about for people going through the work visa, the study visa, or the temporary tourist or visitor visa. Even if they are working there, even if they are also schooling there, they would still be there as a temporary resident for maybe 4 years, 5 years. But in Canada, once you get there through the permanent residency route, be it the express entry, the provincial nomination, or all other permanent residency programs, you become a permanent resident directly at once. And after 3 years of staying there, if you wish, you can also apply easily without much stress again for citizenship. And once you stay there for over 1065 days, you will be able to apply to become a citizen of the country. And if you look at 1065 days, that's roughly 3 years that you need to stay in their home country to work, to file your taxes, to, for instance, if you want to even study as a permanent resident, you pay lesser. For instance, permanent residents in Canada will spend not more than 5,000, sometimes 5,000 Canadian dollars to study what people that are coming from abroad as an international student are paying over 115,000 Canadian dollars for. If you are a Nigerian and we are to put that in the Nigerian fees, that means 5,000 Canadian dollars is roughly 4 million naira. But if you are to come from abroad and you understand, want to actually study with that, you will spend about 12 million naira to actually study the same result, the same degree, the same program like someone that is actually there either as a permanent resident or as a citizen. And the last benefit that I would like to talk about is that as soon as you become a permanent resident of the country, you can work as a citizen, you can earn as a citizen, you can study as a citizen, you can do everything the citizen is doing apart from voting. So most people, when they get there as permanent residents, they don't even address them as permanent residents, but they address them as new Canadian citizens. So I hope that answers the question in detail. If you have further questions, then reach out to us on our YouTube channel, or also try to put comments on the comment section of this video. If you would like to get more updates, subscribe to this YouTube channel. If you like to get answers to your questions and other questions people have asked, also hit the notification bar of this channel to get updated anytime we drop a content. Like and share this video with your loved ones, and we do hope to see you in the next